It was midnight when I was behind the wheel after I dropped my sister off at the airport. She was an overseas student, but 2 months prior, she had come back to visit during the summer break from university. That night, on my way back home, I already been driving for 7 hours straight and I was alone. My eyes were getting tired and watery at the sight of the lights from the lampposts lined up by the driveway. I had to stop by at the cafe by the 7th Highway Street as I still had a 2-hour drive back to home. I took a detour and parked my car before entering the coffee house where the bell above the door sounded a chime. It was so quiet inside, no one was there except the counter lady, who turned to where I stepped in. I greeted her with a nod. And since nobody was there, I took a seat of my own choosing at the table away from the highway street by the window which was overlooking the dark far woods. I looked at my phone and it was 12:34 a.m. The aroma of fresh coffee beans was filling the air. I wanted to take my leather jacket off as it was warm inside, but I kept it on me. I was so tired and heavy-headed that I feared I might forget the jacket back on my exit, and it wouldn't have been the first where I forgot my things behind. The lady finally approached me to take my order. "Just black coffee," I said. She smiled and said, "Coming up in 5 minutes, sir." Black coffee wasn't my preference, but I thought I needed that extra kick to keep me awake on the road. But I wasn't in a rush. I had the next day off, and it was the weekend. I looked through the window by my side, watching the deep woods and the visible stars while I was waiting for my hot cup of coffee. It was here. The lady put it on my table. She had a nose ring and a mole above her upper lip and an employee badge under her shoulder that read Ariana. I thanked her by her name. I started sipping my coffee while spacing out at the distant woods. But then, from distance, I could have sworn I saw a woman escaping from the woods before someone tackled her from behind and dragged her back where she disappeared in the trees. I was awestruck by what I had just witnessed. I was stunned, but I had my doubts that it was what it was, as it was quite a distance from where I sat and it was dark. It could have been something else. For 10 long minutes my eyes were set on the trees. I kept staring, my head racing with thoughts. After I wrestled with my thoughts, it was decided for me to walk there to settle the doubts that overtook me. Just to take a quick look and to make sure. I was scared, terrified, but I still decided to head over there. I still had a long way before I'm home, so now I found myself in a rush, and without wasting much time I left the money for my coffee on the table and stepped outside. I started marching towards the location where I saw the woman come out. The closer I got, the quicker my heart throbbed. I was walking slowly and quietly on that open field. By that time, the cafe was way far behind over my shoulder. The scene from the window back then, I didn't know what it was for a fact, which is probably the reason why I had the courage going forward in the dead of night to begin with. But eventually, when I reached the tip of the forest, 2 quick flashes lit near, together with 2 gunshots that rang in my ears. I flinched back, turned and dashed as fast as I could, without looking behind. I was running so fast the wind was rubbing against my face. I reached my car, unlocked it, hopped in, and took off. I was spooked all the way home, where I dialed the police and gave them the details. The next morning, the cops called back for a homicide investigation. They found a dead female body with 2 gunshot wounds. At that moment, I knew without question what I saw that night was real. I was taken in for questioning where I retold my story with additional details. But my story didn't add up for them. They said the supposed female that served me coffee matched the description of the one found dead in the woods that night. Her name was Ariana Yasmin. I asked if I could take a look at the deceased body. They took me to it. I was damned. It was the same lady that served me my coffee. It was her, with the ring nose and the mole situated above her upper lip. I leaped at them. I told them the coffeehouse lady must have been the next victim after that incident, most likely shot by the same person. They looked at each other and then said, the owner and his son are the only ones that run that cafe at the 7th Highway Street. A missing report of Ariana was filed 2 months ago. She was missing until you called us. To her.